Hey, my tribe, this is Queen Amina Black Love coming at you with a review for Power Book 2 Ghost, the mid-season finale. Okay, let's just get right into it. We got a lot to unpack. This episode started out with Tasha actually having a dream about Tariq's 18th birthday celebration. So he's reached this pinnacle. And if you're paying attention, this actual episode is highlighting the fact that Tariq is now 18 years of age. So anyway, in this dream that Tasha is having, Raina shows up, and she gets to sort of talk to Raina and apologize, tell her she's sorry, Mama wasn't there. Raina's like, "Why are you acting strange?" And then that's the point where Tasha wakes up, laying in her bed in her jail cell. Um, the next scene, Sack shows up at Tamika's apartment. Now, this Tamika is the lawyer, ex-lawyer for Tasha. So Sack shows up at her door to ask her pretty much to lie. Yeah, right. Then we cut to a scene with Monet, who's schooling Diana on what she should do when it comes to men, how she should handle men. And then her little play toy cop shows up, and she sort of tries to be demonstrative and demonstrates how it should go to Diana. All the while, Diana's like giving her the side eye, but saying yes, ma'am. Then we roll up to the scene where Kane is picking up Tariq. Now, in this scene, he's picking up Tariq to have a meeting with Monet. He's telling Tariq, Kane tells Tariq, "I have no idea why she wants to see you. She just wants to see you." Now, in this scene, I think some things to note is that Kane and Tariq did have probably as much of a bonding moment as they ever will. But for Tariq, he's on the what information can I get? So he's picking Kane for a little bit of information on the inside scoop without Kane even really realizing it. And when Kane does realize it, he kind of closes up. So when they do go in the home, they meet with Monet. She wants to find out about this picture that she found in Drew's backpack. She wants to know, Tariq, what do you know about it? And Tariq played it smooth and didn't give her any information about anything. Told her to go ask Zeke. Maybe Zeke knows. I'm busy working for you. I don't have time to, check on others and see what they're doing. So before that could go down, though, Kane went head to head with Monet, and he even let her know, I'm beginning to think you're for others more than you are for family. And it's funny he said that because she asked Tariq a few questions, and I guess he passed the litmus test for Monet, because at the end of that conversation, she was like, "My boy, you always got a home with us, you fam." And it's odd because the question she asked him was, "Which one of my children can I trust the most?" And Tariq, being the Tariq that he is, Tariq said, "Me." Okay. He's got it going on. So, Sax is running to and fro like a chicken with its head cut off, and he's going to see Tamika, trying to get with Tariq, telling Tariq he spilled some info, and it changes the agreement that they had about Tariq seeing him there at Truth when Tariq offed his dad. So along with all of that, Tariq is steady getting calls. That phone is just blowing up. Tasha is his next call, and she wants to know, different information on things that are going on the outside, and Tariq tells her something that he's not told her before. So they sort of butt heads on the telephone call because he kept information from her. She told him he's like his dad, which we all know. Tariq's not feeling that because he wants to be anything but like Ghost. So they had, sort of exchanged words. And then we got Sax, like I just said. In the next scene, he's still running around like a chicken with his head cut off. So he's still trying to use his niece, Riley, to spy on Tariq. So he's telling her, don't talk to Tariq, don't run up to Tariq, just observe and report. Okay, she sacks his niece, so we know how that's gonna go down before it even goes down. And Tariq and Professor Jabari are still having this thing where they're going back and forth, and Tariq shows up late for class, and the professor lets him have it. And of course, after class, he wants to talk with Tariq, and Tariq lets him have it. Pretty much tells him about, you're not my dad, I have a dad, I don't need you to try to be my dad, that type of thing. And so, of course, he storms out of the classroom, and we come up to the next scene where Drew and Tariq are actually having a conversation. Drew lets him know, yeah, it's no secret. He doesn't know, Tariq doesn't know how to broach the conversation, but Drew lets him know, my whole family knows it's no secret. Monet is just testing you to see where your loyalty lies, and he's telling him, but the main thing is here, Tariq, look out for yourself. Look out for yourself. So, his boy Braden, Tariq's boy Braden, is going to throw this big party for Tariq. So he, has got Riley with him, and of course Riley's asking this question, she's asking that question, and finally Braden says, listen, you're a little bit too interested in Tariq. No more questions about Tariq. I don't want to hear anything else from you about Tariq. So they had this big bash, this big party, and at this party, Riley felt like, oh man, I can't get any info out of him. Let me just drug it. She decided she's going to drug Braden, and maybe Braden will tell her, what she wants to know about Tariq. Well, somehow that drink ended up in Tariq's hand. This was a scene at the party still where Diana came in. He was talking to Diana, and then later on, Lauren shows up. So when Lauren shows up, Braden's like, oh boy, man, I didn't even really invite her like that. She's here. Here, take this drink. Loosen up some so you can, get at your girl. And so now the drug drink is now in Tariq's hand. So and another interesting thing is when Lauren and Diana met up, oh my God, he introduced Diana as Zeke's little cousin. What? So that was, um, something notable, and that was like a ooh, no he didn't type moment in the show. So to carry on, of course, him and Lauren, left Diana standing there with a jar on the floor, and they went upstairs to a room. By this point, he's been sipping on this drink, and he sort of passes out because he's totally drugged out. So for whatever reason, Lauren ups and leaves him there. So of course enters Riley. She comes in and pulls his phone out and has it, whatever you do in the iPhone to make it track his location. So of course she calls her uncle and lets her know, oh, I messed up. Of course she messed up. She's his niece. She sacks his niece. It's obvious. And she lets him know what she's done, and that Tariq's now drugged up and he's just walking the streets aimlessly. So Tariq gets to the gravesite of his sister, and of course he's spilling his beans and crying and apologizing to her because, of the things that he's done in the past and how he felt like he should have been there to help her. And along comes Sax. So of course Sax records this whole transaction because he not only visits Raina, his twin sister's grave, but he moves to his dad's grave and sort of let his dad have it, and how he wasn't there to cover, and that's why his mom is in jail, and he did what his dad would have done, but he didn't really give any specific details. So Sax, of course, thinks, oh, I got him now. He's got the info he needs. But, does he? Because, Tariq didn't say specifics. I mean, you could figure out what he's talking about if you were there. But anyways, so that's going to be something for when we come back to see if that's going to actually get Tariq in a compromising situation, and if they can actually do something with that to actually end up locking Tariq up. Another notable thing in this episode was Zeke. He kept shooting his shot, and he finally got in with Carey Milgram. He scores! Ding, 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 ding. I don't know if that's surprising because I heard somewhere, I don't know if somebody said it or I read it, that she was supposed to be a sex addict. So if he kept shooting his shot, of course he was going to finally get to her. Another ooh we know he didn't was Professor Jabari is plagiarizing using Tariq's paper for his book. He hasn't been doing very well. They're telling him he has to have a smash or they're letting him go. So he decided to use Tariq's paper in his new book. So some of the things to look for, I guess, when we come back in December are: will Tariq go down? Um, will Professor Jabari get caught up in plagiarizing? And it just didn't have a lot of ooey factors for me. But you do want to come back to find out what's going to happen to Tariq. So anyway, until December, this has been Queen Amina Black Love. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and like button, and we'll see you next time. Much peace and love to you all. Good day.